having me to finish with my dad's taking him somewhere.
All right.
It'll be
Good.
fun. He does live with it.
Hello, welcome to our portion of today's Austin Fine Arts Fest. Please help me welcome the Miamisburg Middle School Jazz Band. Basie orchestra. That was Moten Swing, real jazz standard. If you know a lot about jazz music, you've probably heard that song before. Our next one is also a standard, but done in a little bit different treatment. This is a song from by legendary melody master Cole Porter. Very famous in the 20s and the 30s. Wrote lots of musicals. Anything Goes, probably his most famous one. He wrote tons and tons of songs. But this song was made even more famous by a little jazz vocalist named Frank Sinatra. And we're going to do a little Latin treatment of it. This is I've Got You Under My Skin. Here we go.
Name a single song from the
are, except for my borrowed high schoolers, thinking they look a little old for 7th and 8th grade. But with one exception, all of these students are in either 7th or 8th grade, which means that they are all in their 2nd or 3rd year of playing an instrument. So it's really fun for us to get to explore not only a new, just a new style of music, different types of music, playing the same instrument they're used to playing, but in different ways. We have one 6th grader with us this year, and that is Darla, our bass player. And I borrowed a few high schoolers because at the first rehearsal when everybody showed up, I was like, wow, look at this great brass section. And then I have my 2 saxophone players who showed up. So I was like, that's okay, we'll supplement, we'll borrow some guest artists. So thank you so much to our high school guest artists. This next tune, we're exploring the blues a little bit. We try to give them a good variety of different jazz styles. The one, I think, analogy that worked with them is I said, I want you to pretend your air conditioning doesn't work, and you're sitting on your front porch, and it's the worst day in July or August, and everything is just kind of slow or lazy. That's our feel that we're going for. This is Basin Street Blues. You can hear a few of our kids playing some solos. Starts with forward to it every single week. So if you are a parent or a family member of one of these students, thank you for sharing them with us. They're absolutely awesome, just a blast to work with. We're going to close out today with a tune that needs no introduction. Here's a little of the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. All right. Very good. Everybody good? You got everything you need? Nice job, everybody. Yes, sir. Here we go. Down, down, down. And it is a 1, 2, 3. We'll see you back here next year. And our high school jazz band will be playing at 12:45, right?
No, 12:45.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
You scared the crap out of me.
Awesome, guys. Great work. Very nice, very nice. I think we can probably just leave the chairs in the stands right where Mr. A.